Here he comes now running up, and as we mentioned, Kennedy took a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter, and they maintained it with some very, very good offensive and defensive play.
Well, no doubt about who won the first half, Phil.
Finally made it back, huh, Larry? Glad to have you. Scared me a little bit.
Well, you know, these lines at the concession booth don't get any shorter or any quicker. All right, for the Highlanders, Bob Allen will put the ball in play as he gets ready to kick off. Twin safeties for the Cougars. 84 is the man that takes the ball. That is Jerome Hill. He comes wide, and he's corralled and driven out of bounds as he gets across the 25-yard line. Nice defensive effort that time for the Highlanders by 45, John Pironi. So a return of about, we'll call it 15 yards to the 23-yard line, but I believe we have a penalty flag down here. Hold on. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be repetitious for the Cougars. The first kickoff return, they were able to get pretty good field position. The second two times they got the ball, the second and third time, they had very poor position because of penalties, and they had the same identical thing happen here at the start of the second half.
Of course, this is similar. That was their long scoring drive, 95 yards, when they were plugged it back against their own end zone, 95 yards, and was able to get a touchdown.
Hard to believe that's all we had to show for the first 24 minutes of play. Here he comes, number 3, Patrick Hardy, as he fights his way to about the 15-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 11, so it's close to a 4-yard pickup. It'll be second down coming up, and about 6.5 for the Cougars as they took that holding penalty that set them back after a fairly decent kickoff return by Jerome Hill.
Hardy's going to be a key here. Let's see if he gets tired at the end of the third and beginning of the fourth quarter, because if he can maintain his effort as he did in the first half, they may win.
And it's Ron Hardy, number 5, who's blocking for him as he tries to go outside. But, boy, that block stood right up, and the Highlanders really threw a fine defensive effort that time. Down at the bottom of the pile, as we try to read these numbers from a distance, look to be number 77. That would be Mark Meyerhoff, 190-pound junior defensive right tackle. He went in and just stood that blocker right up in front of the on-rushing ball carrier, Patrick Hardy, and it was very little gain on the play. Actually, a loss of a yard. It's going to be third and about 8.
Interested to see how Granada Hills reacts to it. They haven't been behind all year long. This is the first time. I'd like to see how they react to this.
So the Hardy boys are set behind quarterback Eric Evans. And it's Patrick, to no one's surprise. He gets the ball carrier. He tries a pretty tough neighborhood that time, right over the middle, and does not find much running room. 55, Kevin Hooper, the boy that made the stop for the Highlanders, as it's going to be fourth down and about 7 yards to go for the Cougars. Granada Hills will get their hands on the ball for the first time here in the second half as Greg Fauble along with Dean Yoshitani go back and await the punt off of the right foot of Greg Friedman. Friedman will be kicking from about his 5-yard line. No time for the Cougars to make a mistake. A little high snap, but Friedman gets it out of there. A short spiral. Takes a good bounce. Picked up by Fauble as he fakes right, now tries to come back this way. Gets around one man, gets a block. He's at the sidelines. He's to the 30-yard line, cutting back. Could go all the way. There goes Greg Fauble, and suddenly we have a new ball game. But we have a penalty flag right back where that punt started from, and you know what that means. Oh, my goodness.
We've actually got 3 penalty flags on the field. There's one in that roughing the kick area, and there's one, I think it's going to be number 10, Yoshitani actually called for a fair catch before Fauble picked up the ball.
And then we have an injured Cougar down on the field right there, as you can see in the picture.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to him. I think that's big number 75, and that's Durian, if I pronounce that correctly.
You did.
But what actually happened on that, Bob Allen peeled back from his punting position and actually laid a great block.
Well, it's going to go for naught for that fine return of about 60 yards by Greg Fauble, who got the return. If we can take another look at it, faked right and then did a 180-degree turn, got some good blocks as he came down the sidelines, cut across field at about the 20 and went in untouched. But roughing the kicker penalty before this partisan crowd from Granada Hills is going to have to swallow this one and say, well, let's set the defense up again. Well, football games, other sports, breaks come and go, and the ones like this are the ones you remember. Let's see how the coaching staff reacts to all this. This is what makes not only men out of ball players, but makes men out of coaches when their highly touted football team has been held in check and they finally turn in a great play, and then it goes for naught.
Of course, it's times like this during the season that you really test it. It really makes the good teams great teams when they can overcome situations like this and come back to win a big game. And maybe this is the big test for Granada Hills at this time during the year.
Well, I'll tell you, they have next game for them will not be next week. They're off next week. Then they take on Cleveland and then San Fernando. Of course, we saw San Fernando and Granada Hills in a fine football game here last season. That could possibly be a championship game. Of course, right now Granada Hills is fighting for survival in this contest, much less thinking about any kind of a championship.
I can't imagine them coming into the ball game overlooking this Kennedy Ball Club because it is such a big rivalry. But it just seems like Kennedy has the momentum, and Granada Hills seems to be a little bit flat, and it's really costing them thus far.
Credit to Coach John Haynes and his fine staff, which includes Bob Francis and Leo Castro, Ron Swanson. They've all done a fine job getting this ball club ready, and it sure shows. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. They'll have it at their own 32. Hand off to Hardy, who shakes one tackle and then falls forward across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. As 77, Mark Meyerhofer is there, along with 15, Carl Jurgen, one of the safeties for Granada Hills. Pick up on the play of about 4, 2nd down and 6 yards to go for the Cougars. They lead 7-0. We're 3 minutes into this second half. 86, Andrew Como wide to the right. In the slot to the right side comes Marcus Jones. Swing wide to the left goes the ball carrier, Brett Logan. And Logan takes it up across the 40-yard line. Close to the first down. They say he has a first down.
Of course, that was the same play they had success with in the first half. It's just a little stop pattern when the wide receiver takes 2 steps back and receives the pass, and Logan again to pick up the first down. That's really the only thing they've done as far as a passing situation.
All right, the ball at the 42-yard line of Kennedy. I formation for the Cougars, who lead 7-0. Pitch this time. Here comes Hardy. Hardy cuts back. Now tries to get outside. He's got running room. Could go all the way. Hardy across the 40, 30, 20, 10, and into the end zone for the touchdown. As they're trying to make the touchdown-saving tackle with Joey Speaks, but he just couldn't get him out of bounds inside the 10, and Hardy goes for the TD. From the 42-yard line, a 58-yard touchdown run for Patrick Hardy. As we take another look.
Watch Hardy. This is a play that's just designed to go just right outside, and he breaks it inside and into the outside, and that's the key. And that young man is very, very fast.
No substitute for speed. As Speaks tries, but can't quite make the touchdown inside the 5-yard line, and Patrick Hardy having himself some kind of evening. So it'll be Friedman to try the extra point. It's 13-0 at this juncture. The ball a little high. The snap is up. The kick is up. And it's good. And with 8:36 to go here in the third quarter, Kennedy has jumped out to a 14-0 lead. So the Highlanders will have to regroup and come out throwing, I would think, as we take a break with this exciting contest from Granada Hills. 14-0. The Cougars lead. Back in a moment. The mood at the Granada Hills bench as they get ready for this upcoming kickoff off of the foot of Greg Friedman. Well, we don't have individual statistics or yardage on Patrick Hardy, but we know he has 2 touchdowns on the evening, 58 and 15 yards, and he's got a bunch of other yards. He's probably in that neighborhood of 140, 150 yards on the game so far.
I'd have to say so. We're going to need a calculator to add up his yards by the end of the game. He's really had a superb ball game. He just looks very, very special tonight.
And he's usually coming in off the bench. That's the interesting part. Friedman kick. Taken at the 2-yard line. Upfield comes, looks like Bob Allen, 22, as he moves the ball across the 25. A good return to about the 28-yard line. It was Allen. brought down by the Cougars. And so now, quick hurry-up offense for Granada Hills as they go into a no-huddle offense. They trail by 14, and they have a 5-0 record on the line. Uh-oh, trick formation. Everyone lined up to this side. Hand off to Allen. Allen breaks it. He's to midfield. Almost. Short of midfield across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. That time it was a touch football snap from center as everyone was lined up on the left of the ball. And they're going to a huddle here. As we take a look at something you won't see very often.
We usually see this on extra points and field goals. Everybody lines up to the left, and Coach Stroh pulling out all the stops now to get some offense. And they've got everybody lined up to the left, and they get outstanding blocking as Allen breaks up through the line of scrimmage.
All right, now they go conventional, break the huddle, go I formation. Sperlin, the quarterback, I formation. Counter to the right side goes Ali. Ali still fighting for yardage. He moves it inside Kennedy territory. The junior Khalid Ali with another first down. Check me on that, a pickup of about 7. It'll be second down and about 3. The ball at the 46-yard line of Kennedy, and I believe the Cougars are going to call for a timeout.
I think it's so important right now for the Highlanders to keep their composure, go to a controlled passing running game, and not panic here. They're 2 touchdowns behind, but that's not a lot. They've got a potent offense, and they just need to control the ball and get some points on the board, but not push the panic button and try to go deep.
No, they're definitely not doing that, although that first play was something they picked out of an old playbook back in the days of Rockney, Zupke, and that crowd. 7:47 remaining here in the third quarter as the Cougars decide this is a good time to use one of our timeouts. Let's get together and let's not allow Granada Hills to take this momentum away from us. Back with more in a moment.
Breathtaking, isn't it? So is this.
Goes Yoshitani. Sperlin pitches to 25. That's Mike Davis. Davis inside of the 45-yard line. Brought down by 53, Jason Choi, outside linebacker. He'll spot the ball at the 44-yard line. Close for a first down, but it looked to be about a foot or 2 short. Call it 3rd and 1.
You know, speaking of breaks, thinking back to that kicking interference call, which actually gave Kennedy another opportunity to score, a very important factor because they turned it around and scored a touchdown.
Indeed. That was a 14-point swing, really. All right, 3rd and short for the Highlanders. Handoff goes to Ali. Ali to the 35-yard line and a Granada Hills first down. Boy, how big a play that was. All right, that's in the past. Right now we're in the present, and the Highlanders getting one of their first drives of the evening going here as we take a second look at that first down pickup by Ali.
Granada Hills, they can run the ball. If they just keep doing it, they got to stick with it. Ali averaging 8.2 yards per carry, and they just need to give him the ball a little bit and control the line of scrimmage.
All right, the ball's at the Cougar 35-yard line. The Highlanders putting a drive together here, trailing by 14. Up back gets the handoff this time. That is, I believe, Bob Allen. As he squirts away and is finally brought down by Carl Smith.
We really got to credit that Kennedy defense. You know, they came in last in the city statistically in defense, and they've been holding the Granada Hills team, which is number 1 in defense in the city, to basically no points and very few yards.
All right, Ali checked out of the ball game. It was Mike Davis, the up back on the I formation, who was the ball carrier a moment ago. Sperlin has Allen and Davis split behind him. Let's see if he goes to the air now, as he has wide receivers set out both sides. Drops straight back. Good protection. Lets it go to the near sidelines. Was it intercepted? Beautiful interception by number 6, Marcus Jones. How about that for a catch? And just like that, Greg Fauble, who's had a long evening so far, as potential receiver, has this ball intercepted as Sperlin just underthrew it slightly, but it was really a super interception that took the ball away.
It really was a great interception, one-handed. This is what I thought they shouldn't have done, is gone deep and he's covered very, very well. And Jones, the one-handed interception, that's another turnover and a big, big break for Kennedy.
Just when the Highlanders had it going, Kennedy takes the interception, although they are at their own 1-yard line. That is a pretty tough place to start. But then remember their first scoring drive? It went 95 yards, so Kennedy is used to a certain amount of adversity. Reacting very well this evening. Right up the middle goes the up back, the fullback. Let's see if it's 33 Riles who's running up there or if it's Carl Smith. As they unpile. I guess it was just the quarterback that kept it himself, Eric Evans.
Absolutely. That's a good call down there. You're on the
No
1-yard
handoff.
line. You don't want a safety. You just kind of take the quarterback and get as many yards as you can. They got a couple.
Right, 2nd and 8. Ball at the 3-yard line. They send wide receivers out, but if you've been following this ball game, don't look for anything to go in the air. All right, handoff to Hardy. Hardy this time does not find very much running room. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. A whole host of tacklers in there for the Cougars, including 64 Scott Craven, 55 Kevin Hooper, and 22 Bob Allen. So it's going to be 3rd down and no gain on the play, 3rd and 8. 4:40 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. A 14-0 lead in favor of who? Kennedy, that's who. As the Cougars completely outplaying the Highlanders. The Highlanders getting burned on some of their perhaps stinginess to get a quick touchdown after the running game really set them up, and then they threw the interception. All right, they try to work the left side of the line this time as the ball carrier looks like it's Ron Hardy, or maybe Ron was blocking for Patrick Hardy. In any event, it's going to be 4th down and about 7 yards to go for the Cougars, and all things considered, unless we have one of those roughing of the kicker penalties, the Highlanders should have the ball in pretty good position.
And let's remember, Friedman's had trouble on a couple snaps from center. Let's see if they're able to get this one off. It's just a real tight snap.
Greg will get ready to punt to Yoshitani or Fauble as they stand inside of midfield. That's a good snap, but not a very good kick. Coming up very short. The ball is down by number 6, Marcus Jones, and you couldn't ask for much better field position on that. So one of the rare instances where Greg Friedman gets off a very poor kick. Friedman, the leading punter in the city, almost 40 yards per average, but boy, that one really had to hurt the Cougars. And let's see if this might be the type of break that the Highlanders turn around this ball game with.
Yeah, Friedman would like to have that punt back because he certainly got off a bad one, plus the fact that it just took Granada Hill's bounce to actually bounce towards the Kennedy players once it hit, and to put them in very, very good field position.
The line of scrimmage was the 4. The ball went all the way to the 17-yard line, so give Friedman a net 13-yard kick. And 1st and 10 for the very hungry Highlanders. Sperlin's going to keep it on the ground as he gives it to Ali. Ali cuts back after he gets across the line of scrimmage, takes the ball inside of the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Host of white jerseys get off the tackle, including 77, Aki Calhoun, and number 11, John Diggs. They'll spot it at the 14-yard line. Pick up on the play of about 3, 2nd and 7. Wide to the right side go Yoshitani and Fauble. High formation. In motion comes Yoshitani. Sperlin, the quarterback, pitches it out. It's Allen or Davis. Let's check. As he gets no gain on the play, it's Mike Davis, the ball carrier. No gain as he tries the left side. And again, a good defensive effort, this time by Era Durdurian for the Golden Cougars from Kennedy as they try to preserve this 14-0 lead following that short 13-yard punt by usually reliable Greg Friedman. The ball just inside the 15, actually a loss of about a half a yard on the play, still 3rd and a long 7.
And that punt was a big, big break for Granada Hills. They really need to take advantage of it. They need some points, not a field goal, but they need a touchdown.
Well, you got to feel that Sperlin's going to be throwing here with 3rd and long. He has not had any luck tonight. No, he gives it off this time to Ali, and Ali's not going to get anywhere. Boy, that Cougar defensive line, they may have given up a lot of yardage coming into this contest, but led by Era Durdurian and others, they are very stingy right now. And this is a big decision for the Granada Hills coaching staff. Do they go for the 3 points, or do they want to try to get 6 or 7 here, or at least keep the drive going? Go ahead, Phil.
Excuse me. It looks like they're going to go for the field goal. I'll tell you, Big DeDuring, that big left tackle for Kennedy's played a whale of a ball game. And speaking of big, he's 270 pounds, 6'3", and he was able to make a good play on that. I don't know about this call. I don't know if I'd go for a field goal or a touchdown here.
Well, Kennedy obliges by calling for a timeout. They use up their second timeout of the half, and they're going to talk it over and gives Granada Hills the same opportunity as we take a break with a score 14-0 in favor of Kennedy. They've had a chance to think it over, and they're going to try for the first down. Fourth down and about 6 for the Highlanders. Handoff goes to 22. Allen, he's going to throw it. Gets rid of it, and it's intercepted, and again by Marcus Jones. As Jones is brought down at about the 10-yard line on a rather wobbly, ill-thrown pass on the running halfback option by Bob Allen, although the option, I'm sure, was out. That was a pass all the way. But it was intercepted by Marcus Jones, who has his second interception of the quarter. As we take another look.
Well, it was a good idea. They went sweep to Bob Allen. The option was to pass back to the quarterback, but Allen was pressured, and Jones came from his quarterback position, and second interception of the night.
And there wasn't a dark jersey anywhere near that football either. All right, so again, familiar situation as Kennedy takes over deep in their own territory. Pitch out goes to Hardy, and he's going to be swarmed under by the suddenly inspired defensive front wall of the Highlanders. Primary stopper in there this time was Bob Allen, who's been playing quite a game both ways, particularly on defense for the Highlanders. A pickup on the play of nothing, a loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
Yeah, Allen's played a very good ball game. He's a good outside linebacker, in my opinion, one of the best in the area. But they've suddenly got pumped up, and they're stopping Hardy at the line of scrimmage, and they really need to get back in this game.
And of course, Greg Friedman kind of got a second breath of life after that poor kick that he had. If he's going to have to punt this next time, you can bet he's going to get a much better one off. Time call, I believe we have a delay of the game. That's correct, against the Cougars, so a 5-yard penalty, which they can't really afford at this juncture, is going to move the ball inside of the 5-yard line. It's going to be second down and about 17 for the Cougars. Awful lot of activity inside of the Cougar 30, but so far the Highlanders have nothing to show for it.
They certainly had their chances, numerous opportunities, especially here in the second half, to punch one in. They just haven't been able to make the call.
And, of course, now the clock is going to be a factor as we have just 13 seconds to go in the third quarter, and the Highlanders trail by 2 touchdowns. All right, handoff goes to Hardy. Did he fumble? If he did, he got it back as he was able to get across the 5-yard line, tripped up in there by 35, Dwayne Williams. Ball will be spotted at about the 5-yard line. As the third quarter comes to an end, we'll have fourth down coming up momentarily. As something like 13 or 14 yards ago, the teams change sides, and we look at the score at the end of 3 quarters. Kennedy 14, Granada Hills nothing.
Hi, this is Mike Farrell. You know,
for the Cougars. Pitch out this time goes to Hardy. Hardy is brought down as blocked out of the play, but coming back to make the tackle with Dwayne Williams. What a fine defensive effort by the outside linebacker on this side. He was blocked clearly out of the play, but was able to roll off his block, came back and helped a couple other fellows make the stop for the Highlanders, as Hardy that time tried to sweep wide to the near side. So it's going to be fourth down and 13 yards to go for the Cougars. And again, Greg Friedman will be stepping in to punt, as standing inside the midfield stripe will be Greg Fauble along with Dean Yoshitani. Well, the Highlanders had one long kickoff return nullified because of a penalty. The last kick by Friedman was very short. Let's see what happens here. From the goal line, Friedman kicks a high end-over-end kick. It's going to go out of bounds, and he's not going to get a great net out of that one either. Let's see where the ball is spotted. It'll be spotted at the 32-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 7, so about a 25-yard kick and no return.
Friedman really came into the game number 1 in the city in punting, nearly, as you mentioned, 40 yards per punt, and he's really going to hurt his average tonight. He's got off 2 very, very poor punts.
So for the Highlanders, great opportunity again. as they have the ball at the 32 and a half. 1st and 10 as Fauble goes wide to the left side, I formation. Slot to the left is Yoshitani. Pitch comes to the near sidelines. Here comes 25, Mike Davis. Davis out of bounds as he gets inside of the 25-yard line, very close to the 22, and very close to a first down. About a 9-yard pickup will bring up a 2nd and about 1. Run out of bounds over there by Carl Smith along with Brett Logan. Boy, if you had to pick a defensive player at this juncture, how about number 6, Marcus Jones? Those 2 key interceptions deep in the Golden Cougar territory.
Yeah, he's played a whale of a ball game. Those 2 interceptions, one of them one-handed.
Well, Sperlin and company are going to be a little careful about where they pass from here on out, I would think, what zone they go to. In motion goes Fauble. Handoff goes to 32, Ali. Ali has the first down as he fights his way inside of the 20-yard line to about the 19. Down at the bottom of the pile looks to be Ron Simmons for the Cougars. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Highlanders, and if you happen to join us late and you've noticed where this football game is being played, you think, wow, the Highlanders are really knocking them around, but that's not the case. The Highlanders are just moving the ball only so lightly inside of the 30-yard line, but they haven't been able to penetrate that goal line yet. And I think frustration might be setting in here pretty soon as we are ready to enter the 10-minute mark here of the 4th period. Sperlin going to the end zone, and it is caught by, I believe it was number 10, Greg Fauble. Made the grab as he beat John Diggs and Marcus Jones on the play. Well, it shows you how well we prophesied. They went against Jones and they pulled it off.
That's right. That's why we're sitting in the booth. They went right to the well again, to Jones's area, and Fauble makes a great catch over the shoulder, and it finally pays off for 6.
All right, extra point attempt by Fauble on its way. It's good. So suddenly we have a 14 to 7 score, a 7-point differential, and it took the Highlanders 3 full quarters plus about a minute and a half to get on the scoreboard, and suddenly we have another ball game. There you see it, 14 to 7. Back with more of this exciting 4th quarter in a moment. '86, Greg Fauble getting ready.